Welcome to Tech Tuesday. My name is Abbie Richie. I'm the founder and CEO of Senior Savvy, and you can find me right here every Tuesday talking with people who are invested and interested in the age tech innovation space. It's an exciting place to be, and I've got a great guest lined up for you. But first, let's go ahead and run our intro. Welcome back. I want to go ahead and bring on my guest, Mary Furlong. Welcome to Tech Tuesday, Mary.
Great to be here with all of you.
Yeah, I'm thrilled that you're here. We had you on the show last year. We talked about technology, about innovation, about investments, all within the senior living space. And so this year, though, I wanted to have you on in advance to the Longevity Summit. So today we're going to talk about the Longevity Summit. I would love to hear about the origins of it, if you would, please.
Oh, that's a fun question to answer because it's our 20th anniversary. So I was a young professor at the University of Santa Clara, and I was having lunch with a venture capitalist who told me he funded 3 companies out of the Stanford biodesign competition. And that's where I got the idea, well, why don't I have a competition? And I thought, let's focus on longevity. And so every year we give away $10,000 for the best business idea to help older adults. And some of those companies have gone on to become $100 million companies like Pet Plan, and it's been a very exciting ride for us.
How cool. So this is the 20th year, is that right?
This is the 20th. So we've given away over $200,000, but more importantly, we've built the investor ecosystem of who's investing in the market. And we also have always included analysts at the summit. So we have the top analyst from ARP, Stacey Alexander, providing an overview of the market. We also have top leaders in senior housing like Sean Kelly and John Cochran and Mary Haynes. And that's very exciting for us to get their point of view. And then, of course, Ziegler Linkage and Dan Herman is the co-producer. He's co-hosting it with me this year. And Mel Barsky from Canada is one of the co-producers. So we have 2 competitions, one a pitch competition, which we're doing with AARP Age Tech on social isolation. And then we also have one on closing the gap, and that's our 10K competition. And then we have pitch for distribution. So there are several pitches. We're also honoring the investor John Hopper, who we lost this year. We also have great keynotes.
Yeah, I want to talk to you about the Close the Gap and what type of companies would be or have been applying for that one.
You know, I'm just seeing the results this afternoon. So they just came in today. But I think there are a lot of solutions where people are using technology and AI to create new solutions. There's a brilliant panel I just listened to that Lori Orlov did on AI and aging. And we see Juliet Holt-Klinger, who now has gone to the company Taproot. So I suspect there'll be solutions to help people age in place at home, solutions for caregiving, solutions around dementia care. We also have some great keynotes, including the founder of PayActive and also Mark Mahaney, who's the leading investor in the market and has written a book called Nothing But Net: Investor Trends in Today's Economy. Mark's a CNBC analyst. So think about getting a two days of an MBA in the longevity market.
I know
to say.
it's going to be fascinating, and I was just blown away by looking at your speaker list. I want to talk just a little bit about the pitch competition because I could tell you're very excited about that, and you just automatically got more enthusiastic and animated about it. What part of this really excites you?
Well, learning from the leaders, it's fun for me. I think of this as an orchestra of talent, and I have the privilege of listening to what's on their minds. What do they see happening? And, what is the role of trust as we think about AI and aging? What is the role of community and well-being as we think about AI and aging? But we're about to rehearse a panel on women leading in longevity and healthcare, and two of the women on that panel are the top leaders in uh, the country in healthcare. So when you bring together a Sarita Mohanty, a Gisela Dolan, a Christine Brocado, Charlotte Yeh, Danielle Ruiz, who's the founding medical director at Everest Health Partners, what they're doing day to day around innovation is very market leading.
100%. Yeah, I am so intrigued by this. And so when we talk about investment and innovation, I have a lot of companies that reach out to me. They want to get on the show or they want to talk about how they can infiltrate senior living. What do you say to some of these startups?
Well, that's a complicated question today, isn't it? Because uh, the last 3 years have not been so easy for the senior living market.
Mhm.
And so solutions related to staffing are really important. We've got several companies coming that are providing access to caregivers. Um, and also, we have companies coming that have non dilutive capital. So,
What does that
how
mean?
Yeah, that's a good question, right? So think about the NIA. The NIA, I think, has 160 million that they give away, and 60% of that goes for solutions around dementia care. So there's so much innovation going on, not only in the US, but recently I judged an international competition in the UK, and we have the UK Center from Newcastle coming to the conference. And so it's really amazing to me to see all of these innovators coming together. And we have more investors coming to this conference who fund in age tech um, and longevity than any other category. So there's investor panels there's a breakfast with seed and angel investors. There's a growth stage investor panel. There's a global investor panel. And then there's the judging investor panels. So it's really a who's who in investment. So if you're an entrepreneur looking for money or you're looking for how to get government funding to support what you're doing, there will be sessions. The second day, there's a whole group of how-to sessions: how to go to market with Medicare Advantage, how to go to market with getting access to some of the state and government funding sources.
Wonderful. Yeah, I know last time you were on, we talked a lot about the the opportunity for companies to tap into some of that government funding that they may not be aware of. Is that something that's covered during this summit?
Yes, yes, we have the master plan on aging in California is something we'll be talking about, and of course that's a lot of funding that's been used to support innovation at the local level. Um, so just the mechanics from both the funder point of view, but also the entrepreneur point of view.
I like what John just said here, and let me go ahead and put that up there on the screen. So, yes, under investment in age tech, educating private venture capital to age tech is paramount. Can you talk about that type of education that the private venture needs to know about?
Can you clarify the question for a second?
Yeah, so John wrote about educating private venture capital to age tech is
Yes,
paramount.
Yeah. So when you think about this, you think of, the inspiration and part of this came from the TED conference, which was technology, entertainment, and design. This conference looks at investment, entrepreneurship, innovation, public private partnerships. So we also have to educate the investors by sharing. We would like to see more investment in the space. So when the investors share their investment thesis, um, that's really informative. Where are they going to put their funding in the next 5 to 10 years? And then hopefully that will inspire sideline investments. But what's fascinating is investments coming from family offices, from traditional venture firms, from corporate venture firms, and it's really interesting to see what the match is between what investors are looking to invest in and what entrepreneurs and the nonprofit sector see the real needs in the community.
Yeah, I want to ask you, what have been some of the big surprises for you in the past couple of years, where you're seeing different companies apply or you're seeing different investors contribute? What have been some big surprises for you?
Oh, that's an interesting question. Well, I don't think I knew how deep the need was for staffing. And, everyone talks about the new world of work. So
Mhm.
any innovation that can help free the staff so that they can gather data about patients, that could save them time, that they can use their time to interact more one-on-one as human beings with the patients. Um, Also, sensors are really an important piece of this,
Mhm.
and a lot of there's a lot of room for innovation in the home. And so I just saw yesterday, I think Lowe's now has a new initiative for products and services in the home. And one of the things that the AI panel talked about today was how this data can then inform new plans for us that can help us get there faster with the detection of disease and clinical trials. Our winner last year had a solution. Neuroscientist is the company that helped with the early detection around mobility, and also how that early detection and prevention could really change the game for a lot of older adults. So certain chronic conditions are rather immutable, like walking and cognitive issues. But how can we use technology and innovation to make a difference there?
Yeah, yeah, I love that. It's really exciting. In the past year or so, I've had several people on who have robots. Maybe they're dining robots or delivery robots, or they're even helping the home robots with cooking and preparation, as well as companies like Labrador for that mobile usage, enabling people to stay in their homes longer, and that definitely fills that staffing point right there. And then additionally, I've talked to a lot of people who are investing in sensors, whether there's sensors for movement, there's also the vibration of sounds, right? So I've seen a huge movement in that area as well. So two really critical things. There's always the staffing point, and then there's also the well, in senior living, the occupancy point. So um, let's see. And um, tell us a little bit more about the summit. So, are you planning on it's a 2-day summit, is that correct?
Yes, currently it's a 2-day summit, um, with multiple competitions, and also um, important sessions. Like there's a session on the importance of diversity, equity, and inclusion in senior living. And it features Adamika Arthur from Health Tech for Medicaid, but also Tricia Norton and Jason Way from Discover Live, and Kari Olson from Front Porch. And we look at that issue. There's also lunch with investors and strategic partners. So you can meet a lot of people at the summit.
100%. 100%. So, are you speaking at the summit also?
There's a virtual summit as well.
Okay.
And so you can buy a ticket and you'll receive the virtual sessions and many of the sessions that we'll download. That isn't interactive. So the best thing you could do is buy a ticket and show up in person. Use the
Yeah.
FOM 20 discount, Friend of Mary 20,
Okay.
and you can have a discount.
Okay. Wonderful. So, and yeah,
There,
there's.
there's another group that I see joining. A lot of people after COVID wanted a different kind of job area. So I see some people coming into the summit wanting to join a team or wanting to meet other people and see what new businesses are there.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, that's a fascinating area of it. It's such a great location, such a great spot to be able to meet people with like interests, especially if you're an investor or if you're looking for a new position within the age tech innovation space, right?
Yes, and you'll get a real sense of who the investors are and who are the market leaders as entrepreneurs. And then it's always great to hear from ARP and Age Tech.
100%. I like what John just said here. I was wondering if we can go ahead and put that up on the screen. Talking about personalized care, interacting with our clients will be enhanced by technology advances like AI robotics to assist in ADLs. So, is there a lot of discussion about personalized care at the conference?
Yes, yes, there is. And also these companies that are growing fast, like My Perfect Companion,
Mhm.
they it's interesting to see the case studies of those companies. Ageless innovation and what their new strategy is really important.
Wonderful. Yeah, and it's fascinating to know both in-home care as well as the care that takes place in senior living. Is there a place in here for in at your conference for senior living operators that you think that they need to know more about?
Absolutely. That's kind of one of the key audiences for the conference. And there's a lot of connection between what's happening in the community, aging in place, and that pipeline into senior housing.
Steve just asked a really interesting question about the opportunities that people are not looking at that they should be looking at. Does anything come to mind there?
I'm sorry, can you repeat that question?
Yeah, sure. So Steve Moran submitted a question. He said, "What are some opportunities that people are not looking at that they should be looking at?"
Oh, that's a good question, Steve. I think in the services market, there's a lot of opportunity. So, one company coming meet caregivers very fast clip. Um, I think there's opportunity in transportation, in food, in personal assistance. I think these are categories that are going to be really, really important. If you look at the number of solo agers, I mean, Steve, I'm 74 now. So a lot of my friends are 74. I see exactly what's happening where they want to stay in their homes. What are the services they need to see brought into their home?
Yeah, and so Steve also submitted another question. So if you were going to start a company, Mary, what kind of company would you want to start at this point, knowing what needs to be done in this aging economy?
Well, I've always wanted to start a widow support network because I think that's a big category that
Hmm.
we're about to see a lot of people, or a sibling support network. There's just not enough. Richard Louis has a wonderful new movie documentary out on caregiving and the impact it has on people. There just isn't enough support. I think dating is going to be big in the future. I think we have a client, My Good Trust, and they have some very exciting solutions around trusts and wills. So, and then I think there's travel. I think travel, there's a company called Freebird out of England. It's very exciting.
Yeah, boy, the chat is just going off over here, and people are loving what you're saying. I got a comment here from Gabriel about what your take is on tech-powered, more modernized adult day programs designed to promote aging in place. How do you feel about that in terms of the innovation and investment space?
One of the things I'm doing to prepare for the conference is really listening to what the investors are telling us that they want to put funding towards.
Hmm.
And so I think there's going to be new funding towards social isolation. I think there's going to be new funding for new solutions around caregiving and family caregiving. I think there are going to be new AI related initiatives that are funded. Um, and we also have NIA at the conference talking about where they're funding. There's a
Hmm.
lot of creativity that entrepreneurs are putting around dementia and new solutions, including lighting and sound. Um, so a lot
And
to
scent.
see.
Like when I was at CES in January, one of the companies that's doing AI with scent, and people say that they can remember their memory 70% more when it's associated with a scent. Have you seen anything like that come across your table?
I think their storytelling and memory capture is a really important topic that we'll see more and more, and collaboration around that. I
Hmm.
think we'll also see a lot of new, smaller social networks around other categories of interest. Um, and I think we'll see innovation in fashion. So sometimes people think when you go into senior living, um, fashion doesn't matter, but Joe and Bella is an example of a company where fashion does matter. So I also think engagement. There's a lot of wonderful companies like Spiro 100 that are doing engagement solutions into uh, the senior housing communities. Even our own podcasts go into senior housing communities. What's different now than 20 years ago is the amount of talent that are coming into the longevity market. It really is an orchestra of talent. I have several companies and clients coming to the conference that are ex-Googlers that now have decided to innovate in this space.
Hmm.
So, I remember I sort of equate when the internet came about. Now I think we see longevity, and now we see longevity and AI as one of the powerful new things to invest your career in the future.
Yes. So we talked about longevity, we talked about AI, we've talked about staffing and optimizing your workforce. What other portion here should do you think we should touch on?
Well, I think unleashing the creativity of older adults as resources in the community and in the
Hmm.
country, I think that's going to be a big market in the future. So that, we see Martha Stewart on the cover of the swimsuit magazine,
Uh-huh.
but many of my friends that are in their 80s are doing their best work now.
Yeah.
They've always had this lifetime of work. We've received a lot of bouquets about this conference, and credit goes to the team. But the mosaic of talent that we've brought together at the conference is largely because there's more and more groups to choose from that are innovating in the space. And so it's very exciting to us to have Sean Kelly there in a conversation with Sherry Snelling, and then the panel that brings Mary Haynes, who's the chairman of the Thrive Center in Louisville, where they have a lot of innovation, and also John Cochran. So these groups are innovating and they're seeing results. Sean Kelly's last company, Enzo Village, I think there's a waiting list of 900 people to get in. So this is innovation that can drive results in the marketplace and also in the lives of older adults, which is good for all of us, right?
Right, right. And I love what you said a little while ago about people, and someone also wrote in that people, yes, are doing some of their best work. And you know what? I've been able to witness that as well at one of the communities nearby here, Sagewood, which is an LCS community. There are people there who were, the chief of staff at at their hospital, and now are doing sculptures, right? And it's just like amazing that when there's the time and the history behind it, what you can then put into your next collectivity, and it's just amazing. So I've definitely have seen that, and yeah, there's several people here who've said that they wish that they could be there at the conference, myself included, but there's also that virtual option that you mentioned, right?
Yes, and we'll always have a virtual option. It's always better in person because you can sit down and have the conversations. We're back at the Claremont. It's a beautiful hotel we've been at for the past 6 or 7 years when we were in person, and everyone likes it because networking always ranks on top. So we've tried to include a lot of that. We have a Roaring Twenties reception, which should be a lot of fun. Um, but I think it's a very exciting time to be in the longevity market
Mhm.
and to hear from these other experts who really, Lori Orlov interviewed 25 people about the future of AI and aging. So her report alone is really worth seeing. And then, of course, Ken and Maddie Dykewald have been doing this for many years. So you don't have to go far to catch talent. And
Yeah.
then to hear like Ted Fisher and his story of building ageless innovation and what they're doing next, which I think every senior housing community will want.
Wonderful. I can't wait to read the report. Maybe we can have you back on after the summit and you can talk about the findings.
And we will leave the content up 2 weeks after the summit, so
Okay.
people will be able to see the recorded sessions as well.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. It's just incredibly exciting, and I'm very grateful that you're hosting this. And for anyone else who wants to participate, what's the best way for them to find out more information?
I think it's www.boomerventuresummit.com.
Wonderful. And if people have
But
questions,
use discount code FOM20 if you want a discount.
FOM20. There you go. Discount code, friend of Mary. That's FOM20. And Mary, for people who want to connect with you one-on-one, what's the best way for them to do that?
Just send me an email, Furlong at AOL. I was a beta tester. I've been at this a long time, but you can tell I'm as excited today as I've ever been about what we're doing.
Now, we may have to talk about your AOL account after the show. um,
I'm not going to change it. I can access it anywhere in the world. And whenever I see Steve Case, who was the founder of AOL, he's impressed I still have it. But
I'm
no one,
impressed you still have it.
everybody remembers it, right? Everyone knows it.
That's right. That's right, Mary. Okay. Well, thank you so much for being here with us today. And thank you for the amazing chat that we've had. And for everyone who's participated in the discussion today, I'm thrilled to see you all. And Mary, it's an honor to have you on. Thank you.
Oh, my pleasure. It was wonderful to be with all of you and give my best to Steve and the team there. Okay.
You got it. We'll do that. Have a wonderful day. And we will see you all back right here next week on Tech Tuesday. Thank you.
Thank you.